free games for LAN centers that are part of this new program that we're going to talk about here in a little bit called ggLeap. But it's an exciting time to have Mark on board, and some of those things that he's going to do for us are going to be pretty crazy coming up as part of our G Day. So we'll talk about some of that stuff here in a little bit. And there's some big things in here that are going to save some people some money. So, all right, let's get on to some news. So ggLeap, I just said the name. It's something that has been a code name behind the scenes for us since December of 2014, when we were so graciously led down this path by other companies that we were working with that left us no choice but to kind of create our own solution for this. But I am so excited because for 12 years, ever since I opened my LAN Center, I've always said, and I know many of you that are going to watch this tomorrow on YouTube, especially those that have been supporting us, have said the same thing. Gosh, we should just sit down and write our own software so that it could do this and do this and do this and do this. And these things that these other software companies do not do, they will not recognize what our needs are. They don't respond to us. The major problem has been is that none of the software that's out there today to manage a LAN center has been made by people that run LAN centers. So maybe they did 15 or 20 years ago, but they've lost track and they've lost touch with what LAN centers need. So what we did is we started this process in December of last year. In January, we brought on 13 centers that have funded this project underground from January through June. And then in July, eBash graciously agreed to throw ourselves into the frying pan and start testing out the software. So ggLeap is the name of our standalone software that you can use to run your LAN centers. And we officially are launching it today. The website is up. It's www.ggleap.com. It's a cool little name, and the intention is obviously to be the fact that ggCircuit recognizes what we needed to do for the management software for LAN centers, for gaming centers, and we want to jump ahead of everything else that's out there. Everything that you're going to look at that's on the market today was built or designed in a programming language at least 15 years ago or more. So the problem is that we're all still running on software that the code base is that old and crappy and written in. I mean, it's just been band-aided over the years. You know, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and specifically Smart Launch. So our center has used Smart Launch since 2004 when we opened. When we opened and used Smart Launch in 2004, the version that we ran was 4.1. That was in 2004. Version was 4.1. Today, they're on version 4.8, blah, blah, blah. They've announced their new esports 5.0 when I notified them that we were no longer going to be supporting Smart Launch. Within a week, they announced in the end of June, they announced that their esports 5.0 system was coming out. I love their website that's full of screenshots and all the things that their new stuff that does, but they're all fake. It's all stuff that's not out there today. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. Keep doing what you're doing, Smart Launch. You're making this the easiest thing ever for me because you're over-promising and under-delivering while we're building a product that actually matters. Just to clear the slate with everybody else, what we did is that we went back completely to the ground. It has nothing to do with any other software we've ever used. There's nothing out there that we wanted to use or that we cared about using from anything that we've even built on top of Smart Launch. Everything that we've built is from the ground up. And here's why it's so crazy cool. There's no server in your building. You know, this goes back to why I think running a LAN center is super important. To have business people running a LAN center. You're not going to run a server in your store. You're not going to have to set up a database. You're not going to have to figure out how to configure executable files and things. You're not going to have to figure out how to work on registry files. You're not going to have to figure out all the things that we've sat and tried to figure out for years. I want people to be able to open a LAN center and to install this stuff and do it in a day. You know, like that should be that easy. It should be that easy that a person with common computer skills that knows how to run a business, that enjoys gaming or knows what gaming does, but doesn't understand everything under the hood, they should be able to open this up. Case in point, we took this to Gen Con at the beginning of August, and we ran this on a nearly 300 station network with almost 10,000 people coming in 4 days. And we set it all up and ran it live. You know, my guys almost killed me because it was like a super stressful situation to get it done and to get it out in that time. There were hiccups and there were problems. We've gone through that for everybody else. We've gone through a lot of those hiccups and problems to make sure that we're really putting the product through its paces and getting it ready. So all of this runs online. So it runs on Amazon's web servers. And there's a couple reasons why we do that. Number one, the biggest thing that we've always wanted in the past is we've wanted to interact with our customers live from day one. It's not possible to do that in an environment where you're placing physical equipment at these centers. Some of them are smart enough and some of them are adept enough technically to make it all work behind the scenes. But I can tell you, if that system wasn't built to deliver your content on the web, then it's not going to ever work the right way that you wish it would work, especially in mobile apps, especially with mobile views, on tablet views, especially with touch screens, all of those things. So our system is completely web-based for the server. It's completely web-based for administrative functions. That is so freaking cool. It blows my mind that with our phones and our tablets, we can walk through Gen Con with 300 stations around us and help customers at their station with our wireless tablet or with our cell phones, add more time to their account, sell them more products and ring it up right there. There's so much you can do with your phone that you're used to running up to the admin station, wherever that software is installed on some computer in your store. Screw that, man. Like, log in from home and see what everything's doing. Don't install anything. Borrow your girlfriend's phone and log into the website and see what everything's doing. You don't have to have anything installed for the administrative functions. The other big thing for us was, this is huge for eBash. You want to know why people haven't gotten big? You want to know why this industry hasn't consolidated? Because there's not support for multiple locations. Being the fact that you've got to install this software on a server in this location, my 2 eBash stores right now used to have 2 separate systems running at each store. The stores are an hour apart. If a guy left one store and went to the other store, he has a different account with a different amount of money on that account and a different amount of credit. He has maybe a different username because he didn't get there fast enough to get the username reserved for himself. Our system, since it's all online, supports multiple locations for license sharing, which is huge, for remote administration, which is huge, for things like logging in and being able to take a phone call and service the customer from another store. Our phone systems are connected. If you dial one of our stores, the person that answers your phone call may be at eBash Terre Haute or eBash Indianapolis. We can book a birthday party. We could sell you time on your account. We can check how much time you have here. We can do all those things. I could put one of these phones at my house and do tech support from home now because I can pull up our web admin for ggLeap at home and do whatever I wanted from home. So that web-based system is revolutionary, and nobody else is doing it. And in the people that are releasing new versions of their software, all they're doing is giving you a new client. The database, the server, the administrative functions, they don't care. They're not going to go back and redesign it because they're just cashing our freaking money every month and putting it in the bank. They're not reinvesting it into the software. Why am I still on version 4 point whatever 12 years after I started using your software? That's ridiculous. Reinvest, stay up with the industry, give us what we need to run our systems. I blame these companies for one of the reasons why LAN centers can't make it very long in this industry, because we all have to work our asses off to try to fix things when the stuff should be done for us.
A couple of things I want to note real quick. Let me interrupt. You're talking multiple locations. So eBash is a prime example of that. We have 2 locations. They are an hour and a half between each other. And Joe Schmo from Terre Haute shows up in Indianapolis and he says, okay, can I use my coins? Can I use my time on my account I have in Terre Haute? And we have to tell him no, because the current system that we used was siloed. They all had their own databases. So ggLeap changes that. So now Joe can go to either location, use the same time, continue to add the same coins to his account, redeem the same stuff, and it's all web-based on the cloud. There's obviously a lot more in-depth that we could go to about having everything online, and I'm sure that we will. But the other thing that I want to point out that we have touched on but not really touched on is the guys that we were connected with that have built this for us have been there before. They have done this 10 years ago in their own business when stuff wasn't even available online as much as it is now. They and you've said it before, I would dare you to find someone that has the knowledge that these guys do, and we take advantage, we take for granted already, even just after a month, the things that our software can do that other people haven't even seen yet. So we're just scratching the surface on this stuff, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, the funny thing about the three-headed monster that is ggCircuit, I don't think there's anywhere in the world you're going to find a better technical team than we have in this industry that can write this code. Chris, McGee, Andy, Ross, those guys that are working over there, Colin, those guys build industry-leading software for other industries. And on top of that, they've all been owned and worked in a LAN center in the past. So they're building applications for companies, for the government in Ireland where they're at. They're building applications for big Fortune 500 companies and things. We have a team that is heads and tails above anybody else out there technically. I would doubt that there's anybody, and I'm saying this because it's battle scarred expertise from my standpoint and my team of running a LAN center. We've been through the ups and downs. We've been through the goods and the bads. We've seen the heyday. We've been out there, and I've worked with MLG. I've worked with World Series of Video Games. We've traveled with all these different companies like World Cyber Games. We've been there. We've done it. We know this industry. We know how to make this thing work. And then we bring in Mark, who for years has had great contacts and knows the inside of the industry with game publishers, developers, and manufacturers. So the three-headed monster of our team that's putting this together it's unstoppable. There's no way that anybody else is going to be able to compete with us on any level. And we'll start talking about some of the features and prices here in a little bit. But one other thing that I wanted to touch on while we're on the web-based system is huge, is that license management and license pools can be shared not only between ownership groups that have multiple stores, but also for all of us together. And the reason why that is huge, the reason why this is humongous, is that in the past, iGames used to get us copies of games for showcases and premieres. And you guys that have been around a while remember this. This were the good old days, is that through the mail, you'd get your disc copies and your license keys for Steam or whatever. You would own, 8 or 16 copies of the game for your center. Now, the problem with that was whether your center had 10 PCs, 50 PCs, or 100, you could only get 8 or 16 copies because they tried to spread them around to everybody. What our system will do is allow a publisher to give us licenses to support ggLeap centers, and all they can be all over the world, and all of them will benefit from a shared license pool across all those platforms. So if Mark Carter down at Guff has one of his guys in one of his 7 centers that launch a game, it can pull a license pool out of a publisher-supplied license for him and his player to launch in Australia. And then as soon as he's done with it, we could pull that out and we could launch it somewhere else. Now, some of the systems are going to be regional based, and we'll have all that divided out by system group. So in other words, a key that's launched in Australia, if it's launched again in another country, might flag that key. We'll handle all of that behind the scenes because, again, guess what? Light bulb. We built the system. We can do whatever the frick we want. Like, we can make it work in different groups. We have all the centers set up in groups for each region of the world. So if a publisher has servers in Europe, we can limit the license keys to just European centers that connect to those servers. We can handle all of that stuff. These things are humongous opportunities for us to really catapult the LAN center industry into the spotlight with all of us working together on one unified and shared platform.
Yeah, and I want to take a step back because, again, we are in the know. We live and breathe this 24 hours a day. So what the purpose of ggLeap is to have a simpler system to run your LAN center. So there will be, much like a lot of you guys use Smart Launch, use Cyber Cafe, Cyber Planet Pro, Handy Cafe, whatever it is, it will be a client that controls your desktop so that players cannot get to any of the critical pieces of your PC. You'll be able to add users, add time. Down the road, there'll be a point of sale system. We're going to do everything that we possibly can to make it easy for centers to have software without technical know-how. So the thing that I will interject as well is I've just started doing some installs for centers who have adopted early, and I've had practice at the eBash centers installing, but not working with other center owners. I did 2 installs today, just on somebody doing one PC, and they were up and running with games in their system in less than an hour.
Yep.
So, and I don't. Other people could chime in and tell me, who has done Smart Launch and how long it took them, but I guarantee you it was not less than an hour.
Right. And again, the result you get in the end is not the product that you're going to have with us when it's all finally installed and set up anyway. So, again, it's apples and oranges. And the one thing I want to also touch on right now is that, it's so funny for me to hear feedback from centers that, have had Smart Launch contact them for one reason or another to tell them things. And I'm not sure why Smart Launch would say things like this, because again, I'm in the industry. These are all my friends. What I care about and what my goal in this whole thing is to make LAN centers stronger. That's what I care about. I don't care about making $1 million off software. Whatever you're doing, all you other software companies, you don't own a LAN center. You don't run LAN centers for a living. Do you own, you may be a partner in one LAN center somewhere, at some point, but that's not your core business. You're sitting in an office somewhere trying to make money off people selling software. I'm trying to make software that runs my LAN center better. That's what I'm trying to do. And I've watched centers fail because people that have been good people that have good ideas cannot get through the headache of installing these advanced setups that these other companies require. It just doesn't make any sense. So for us, again, no local servers. You don't have to set up a server. You don't have to have a certain operating system running on a local server. Screw it. You don't have to do that. We let Amazon do that for us. We're in the day of the cloud anyway. You don't want your data locally. You want your data online. It's all backed up. It's all available for you anytime you want to. If you want to export it and import it into MailChimp, go for it. It's your data. It's your customers. It's all there. You just don't have to worry about putting all that crap in there. All right, let's talk about some more stuff here real quick. The fun things that are coming, and again, these are not finalized, but I want to talk about them because this is where this stuff gets real. So we're talking with EA. We're talking about getting keys for Battlefield 1. It's not inked. It's not 100% in stone yet, but all the indications look really great for us to get a humongous batch of license keys for Battlefield 1. Why is that important? Because every freaking one of us needs to have Battlefield 1 running on our PCs. Will it work with Origin? Absolutely. We'll make it all work. We'll make sure that it's all logged in correctly. We'll make sure that, again, we'll support the centers and give the centers what they need to be able to run. That'll be included with our Pro and our Enterprise versions. You'll get keys for free as part of those membership groups. So why is our stuff better? I mean, we're just going to be able to shower everybody with these free licenses where we don't have to all go out and spend our money to buy them. I don't know about you guys, but I dread the fall season when all these new games come out because I've got to go spend so much bloody money on all these stupid games. I have to do it. And you know what? They're not going to give us a discount, so we spend $60 a game. So if we give your center the access to be able to get as many keys as you need for your players to play Battlefield 1 October 23rd, how much money is that going to save you? On top of that, if Battlefield 1 integration launches with G-Day at the same time, and again, this stuff's not finalized, but just picture this in your mind, this is the utopia we've been waiting for. We want to make sure that when new games come out, our system not only supports those games, but it downloads those games, it updates those games for you, it does everything behind the scene where you can run your LAN center and you don't have to come in every week and try to figure out how to hack the next thing and get the next thing working in your LAN center. It's the example I use with a lot of people is, GameStop as an industry leader in sales, they don't have a lot of experts in marketing and planning at every one of their stores. What they do is they have a group of people at the corporate level that do that, and they multiply that by the 5,000 locations that they represent. So every Tuesday or Monday, they get a shipment, and the people at those stores can run the business. They don't have to figure out, what are we going to do next week for a cool new promotion? It just comes and it's delivered to them. That's what we want to do for LAN centers. We want to just put those tools out there and then have these events coming to all the LAN centers week after week after week. New games, new contests, new prizes, things that will make your center better. Why does Battlefield 1, why does EA want to work with us? Oh, guess what? Our software is going to be running on all those PCs, and we're going to be able to tell them beyond a shadow of a doubt how many hours their game is played, how many times their game was launched, what the system specs were on the PC that was running their games. We're going to be able to give them feedback like they've never gotten any time before. So they will keep working with us for future games and everything else that they can do for us, because we have complete control and the ability to hand those stats back to them. Now, that some centers may say, hold on a second, that's my data. I don't want you messing with my data. You know what? I mean, we're not going to do anything with personal data. It's going to be aggregated data. We'll be upfront with everything that we deliver to publishers when we give them these reports. I'm not going to deliver them personal information from gamers. Like, that's not the stuff that we're trying to do. We're trying to give them statistics to prove that we can influence gameplay for their game if they provide us the support that we've always dreamed of having. Again, what could we have done a year ago before ggLeap? What could they have done for all of us? Oh, you know what? eBash, here's 10 keys for your store. Here's 10 keys for your other store. Here's 10 keys for the others. If you're a good center, could you mind sending me some of the reports? I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to run them custom reports and email those back to them and create some presentation to show them what we did. But ggCircuit and ggLeap, we have time to do that. That's what our software will do. So we'll give these reports right back live to the publishers and give them real-time feedback on their games and support for their games.
Yeah, because unfortunately, like our seasons, sometimes the centers just would take the gifts and the money and not really be able to prove that they had those actual numbers or actual hours.
And that was a problem back in the old days of iGames. We never knew what happened to those free copies that were mailed out to LAN centers. Some of them you're required to take a picture, show that there's a poster on the wall. Guess what? We'll put the picture right on ggLeap's front page to show that we're featuring Battlefield 1 is the game of the week this week. And you know why we'll all do it? Because EA will give us those copies of the games, and they'll provide us with prizes to incentivize our players to come back to our store to play. Now, here's the biggest news of the day. All right. So this has not been the biggest news of the day, so far. Oh, one thing I want to touch on real quick. The ease of installation of this is huge, and all of you out there need to start looking at other opportunities outside of your walls that are your LAN center. What eBash has done over the past 3 years, getting involved in the convention and the gaming shows, trade shows, going out at mobile events, all of those things that we've done have greatly increased our footprint in the markets that we're in and brought more people to our brick and mortar stores. So this is brilliant because you can go out and you can take a PC anywhere that you can get internet. You can plop it down and it's instantly connected to the system, and the game library is updated and it's ready to play. So go make whatever partnerships you can make outside of your brick and mortar walls. It may be the local pub down the street. You just go put a couple gaming PCs in there and let the people go in there, log in, and be able to do. Oh wait, oh gosh, we need to put a server in there. No, you don't. You just need to take the freaking gaming PC down and plug it in and get an internet. That's all you need. You don't need an admin. You don't need a server. You just plug the gaming PC in wherever you want. You could put it in a museum. You could put it in a trade show. You could put it in a restaurant. You could put it in a laundromat. You could put it in a laser tag arena. You could put it in a putt-putt golf course. You could put it in a bowling alley. Go make deals and utilize your contacts, because no longer do you have to be bound by, I'm on a local network with my server. It's no longer an issue. Take it wherever you want. Go make some money. That's what we're trying to do here. The more people that play, the more people that pay you guys to play, the more bodies that are in front of these games, the more support we'll get from the publisher. That's how it all boils down to. Okay, so fun story as we kind of wrap things up here a little bit, but fun story is that I met the guys from Robert Morris University. I think 2 years.
First Gen Con. It was
it was second. It was second year. It was second year, and it was actually at PopCon. Kurt stopped by and he said, "Hey, you guys, what is this? This is cool. We should talk sometime." And we've just stayed in contact for a few years. I finally got up to visit them last week, and I literally went up there because they have never used any software in their esports arena, because they just have their scholarship athletes play. It's not open to the students at Robert Morris, just the scholarship athletes. So their students, their players come in and they just have desktop access. They couldn't tell how many hours they played games. They couldn't control what they played. They just let them have desktop access. They have coaches that try to watch over them, but they didn't really have a way to control it. So I went up there and I said, "Listen, Here's what we want to do. They loved it for a bunch of different reasons. But while we were there, we started talking about, oh, they're building a new facility. Oh, guess what? We've worked with the guys from eBlue. Do you want to talk to them? Oh, we've worked with Alienware. Oh, we've worked with these other companies. Now we're putting together a package for them that not only is the software, but it also is helping them build their second space. They're now up to this year, 80 athletes at their school will be on some sort of scholarship to play esports at their university. Those guys are setting the standard for esports in the universities. Now, while that may seem exciting and whatever that we're working with them, the craziest thing happened is that same week that I went and visited them, I had a guy that reached out to me on Skype and said, hey, what do you guys use? Do you guys use Smart Launch at your LAN centers? Funny thing is that I was like, oh, well, we used to, but I don't anymore because we built our own solution. Oh, really? What is it? He immediately calls me and is like, we are scrambling. We've been trying to get Smart Launch to work in our university, and it doesn't meet the security requirements. It doesn't work with Windows 10. They're trying to roll out this new esports 5.0, but it has all these bugs in it, and they don't call us back, and I don't even know where they're from. They're, there's all these issues with it. Can you help us? Can we use your product? So what we did is we just called him up, and that same, I think it was like on the afternoon on a Friday, we called him up on Monday and we set him up on our system, and they started testing the system on Monday. They will not use any other software that's out there because they're very, very specific and particular about their security settings inside their campus network. I think that the university market is going to explode. And again, LAN centers need to be involved. Don't sit around and wait. You're going to take these things that we're doing. You're going to go to your local universities and you're going to say, this is what these universities are doing. You guys need to do this internally and we'll help you make it happen. But these guys can't be happier than working with us because we're going overboard to make sure our product, which is brand new, built from the ground up, it's entirely all of our own code. We don't want anybody else's old code. We're not copying anything else anybody did because it's 15 years old and it's all written incorrectly and it all has a bunch of security flaws in it. They broke Smart Launch down in about 5 minutes when they installed it at their university. They absolutely have no interest working with them. They are on board with us, and I talked to them today and they gave us permission to talk about it. So it's UCI, University of California, Irvine, who's launching in 3 weeks, is going to be running ggLeap and ggCircuit at their facility. 80 PCs plus consoles in a university with 31,000 plus students that's open for the students to play. They are setting the standard for all the universities to follow suit all over the US and all over the world. And they are behind us 110%, and we're behind them 110%. We're going to do whatever we can. We're actually going out there, their launch week. We'll physically be there with them to make sure that everything goes smoothly. But the beauty of the whole thing is that the only thing that they have running there is our client on the gaming PCs. Everything else is located at Amazon's web servers. They don't have to worry about security issues with MySQL databases, with Windows Server applications, with a whole nother system that's running internally in their video game network that they have to worry about. All they have to do is get their PCs online and make sure the ports are open for gaming and the ports are open to talk to our Amazon web servers. That's all they have to do. They couldn't be happier working with us. We'll actually have them. A couple of them talked about joining us on the show tonight, but it's pretty late. Like you said, we're not during the day. So in the next few weeks, we'll actually bring some of them on to talk about it firsthand. And again, I cannot wait to have people get involved and to start using this software. So here's where we're at today, is that we're finishing up the beta period. We have, I don't even know, I haven't even looked. You put a couple new centers on today. Ross has put some centers on.
Ross said like 16 that we've been rolled out to 16 centers so far.
Right.
Either initially a couple PCs just to try it out, or people that are ready to roll.
Right. So here's the state that we're in right now. The centers that funded us January through June, they did their job. They got the base product out the door. We're in about a 2 or 3 month window before our stuff is fully open and out of beta, where we feel comfortable with it being a full-blown product to release it in those 4 different packages that will be available. So there'll be a light version that's free to use. It does not include any esports features of ggCircuit, but it does include hourly coins in the reward system if you want to do local rewards. The standard system is $25 a month. I didn't want to price these by clients, but I ended up pricing these by clients because we do have an identified cost with running multiple clients back to the Amazon web servers based on how big you are. But again, this is not big jumps. I'm not charging you per PC. It's basically up to 20 clients can run the free version, up to 50 can run the $25 a month version, and then $100 a month that you can run as many as you want. I don't care how many you want to run. At that point, you are our pro center. You're going to get license keys. You're going to be involved with all the other programs. ggCircuit's included with all this. So those of you that have been debating, like, I pay this for ggCircuit and I pay this, all that's gone. ggCircuit is now fully included in the standard pro and enterprise versions of the software. The enterprise version is probably the coolest one. I've known this forever. And again, eBash is not gigantically awesome by any means. But again, we have 2 stores. There's things we need, like multiple store support. I want to have my own branded skins. I want to have those things. That's what we'll give to the enterprise level customers. Some of those are people that sponsored us in the first 6 months. Some of those people are coming on board now as new customers. So that's available for people. Right now, what we need is, I feel like this is like a telemarketing call, but right now what we need is, we just need centers to start using it, playing with it, giving us feedback. And all we're asking for is an early access fee. Just join for $100 a month. Every dime during early access will be credited towards your subscription, whatever you try to use later. So you're basically just prepaying for services you'll get to help us get through the last 2 to 3 months of development. It's a very expensive venture. It's completely funded by us personally, Mark and Chris and I, J-Mac and Sean, my partner. Like, a lot of us have contributed funds to make us get to this point we are today with ggCircuit and ggLeap. We're comfortable with the place we're at to ask for the community to get on board and help us. So, we need people to come on board, pay us $100 a month, start running it at their center if you want to. We've been running it at eBash for over a month. There are a few things that are being finished up over the next few weeks for the UCI installation for their grand opening party that are things that LAN centers care about, reporting, certain offers being able to be applied to accounts and those sort of things. But right now you can run it. If you are ready to break the chain and say, listen, I'm going to get on board, I want to support these guys, you can break the chain and run with this software. We've been doing it for over a month, and I would say 2 to 3 times a week we release new versions. The clients are auto-patched. You don't have to do anything. They're updated on the fly. Anytime you restart it, it gets an update.
That is an absolutely huge thing to nail on, because a lot of times centers will accidentally upgrade Smart Launch and it's not tested. We are personally testing this with multiple people in our own centers before we release it to anybody. So, besides that, you don't have to spend the time to install it. It automatically gets installed to your client.
Yep. So what we're doing today is we're kind of making this announcement. We've been public about it in some of our private groups. Is that a thing? Can you be public in a private group? But for 6 months it was just the core centers that knew about it. And then after that 6-month period, we started letting know our ggCircuit group a little bit about it. We've hinted at it here and there. Now we're letting the world know. The website's live. All you got to do is fill out that contact form. I'll send you a PayPal subscribe button. If you can support us at least $100 a month, you can do more if you want. Again, all of those fees apply to your future licenses. So we had a small center say, can I get involved? I probably do the $25 a month one. I don't want to do $100 now. And I said, you know what? You can do $100 now, and all you're doing is you're prepaying for 4 months of the $25 a month access. And they're like, oh crap, that's awesome. We're not doing this. We're doing this to pay for the product to be built. We're not doing this because we want your money, because that's how we make money in our business. I run a LAN center. That's what J-Mac does. We work for our LAN centers. That's what we do for a living. Chris writes software for other companies. That's what he does for a living. Mark runs iGames. He runs Alienware Arena. He runs NVIDIA programs. That's what he does for a living. We're building this software as a standalone system to try to grow our industry. This is the thing that we've been missing. And we don't care where you're at. We don't care how many PCs you've got. We need you on board now, testing the stuff, putting it in place, giving us feedback, watching as we roll stuff out, taking advantage of it. And then when we go full open, you'll be able to choose which of those packages you want to roll into. And anything you pay in the early days will get you into those things. The other added bonus that I'm throwing out there is that anybody that's contributed over $1,000, a lot of our centers have done that so far. They've done it in one-time donations. They've done it monthly. A lot of them paid us $200 or $300 a month for 6 months during our our initial development places. So they're going to get a 20% discount for life on anything we do. So if you get above $1,000 during these periods towards us, you'll get a 20% discount on all license fees down the road, just as an added thank you for anybody that gets involved early with us. Again, we are super excited about this. JMac and I have been waiting. I swear every week for the past at least 6 to 8 weeks, we've said, should we do a Twitch show? Should we announce ggLeap? And we've said, well, let's just wait a little bit. Should we do it? Should we do it? Well, let's just wait a little bit. Today, the big thing that happened was UCI committed to us. They made the call to Smart Launch and said, we're not using your product. That was enough for me to say, it's time to go public with it. We need to let people know the cool stuff we've been doing behind the scenes. And we need everybody to jump in and get involved. We need everybody to be part of it with us. We want everybody to be on this ride because it's going to be the thing that we've always dreamed of. All of you guys out there and gals that are running centers have had a laundry list of things you wish you could have done. Online reservations, the ability to log in and check your time or add more time from home. Those things are things that we can create that we don't have to build an administrative client that then is downloaded and installed in your center that doesn't have web access, that doesn't integrate with some of these sites like PayPal or Stripe or Square or whoever you want to take payments from. Like the sky is the limit with our software.
While you're touching on point of sale systems, that's a lot of questions that I'm getting in here. Point of sale and reports. Can we touch on that real quick?
Yeah, we'll talk about both those things. So point of sale for me is a big thing for running eBash. Because right now what we do is we use a separate point of sale to ring a person up, and then we go into ggLeap and we add the time in. So we use two different systems. Some centers already do that. Not very many centers use the point of sale that's integrated with their current product. So if you're using QuickBooks for your cash drawer, if you're using another point of sale product, you can keep using that, and we'll be able to do the same thing. You just come over into ggLeap and you add in 2 hours, you add in 5 hours, whatever time you want to add to the user's account. They're two separate. I don't like that. I don't think anybody should do that long term. We're in talks with a couple centers that are bigger I'm talking with about them paying for us to integrate with third-party point of sales. So there's some big ones that are out there like QuickBooks and some others that we would love to integrate with their API. To me, that's a great solution. And for simple point of sales, we can obviously build some of that stuff in where we can easily open a cash drawer. We can easily associate an offer with a certain dollar amount and have those dollar amounts reported back to you. It's not that hard of a thing to do. Those are things that we can build in, and obviously we'll build those things in the future. It goes hand in hand with the reporting as well. So the reporting, some of our reporting we have to have done for UCI for their launch. So UCI launches September 23rd. Basically they're going to have people that walk into their center and pay them, and they have a credit card machine. They swipe their credit card. They're not going to take cash. They want to make sure that they can ring up 1 hour, 3 hour, 5 hours, 7 hour, whatever bundle or offer they ring up. They want to have a report at the end of the day that shows their sales that they can balance with their credit card machine. That will be done by the 23rd when they have their grand opening. Actually, we're doing it for the week of the 23rd. So the 19th, that will be available. Reporting of your offers and things will be done by the 19th of this month. So there's deadlines that are looming that are pushing us, which is great. We love a challenge. We love to try to go after these things and get them. We want to make sure UCI hits a home run because we think the university market's going to be big. But all of the stuff that we're doing for UCI and their opening are the exact same things we need to do for our LAN centers anyway.
Okay.
Sorry, you're running chat.
That's fine. I was just trying to think how to form this question rather than just blurting it out. I'm not sure what the question is about game keys, but game keys are created with license pools. This goes out to Game Republic question. I'm assuming Chris, Tom, not Chris and Tom. Where are we with importing user accounts?
Yeah, that'll be definitely a big thing as we make the final transition from Smart Launch to ggLeap. The ggLeap system, one of the things that we've had to do at ggCircuit is we built ggCircuit for 3 years, and you've had to tie your ggCircuit account to somebody else's system. Like, that's a pain in the ass. We've all fought it for 2.5 years of being a ggCircuit center with our other softwares that are out there. That all goes away because we're just creating one user that will be a ggLeap ggCircuit user. Now, if you want to save your old systems users usernames and maybe some of their balances, we're going to definitely have the ability to import usernames into the new system so that everybody can come in with their usernames. We don't want any of the other systems' passwords to come over. They're totally done incorrectly. They're not done to industry standards. We do not want to bring their passwords over with us into the new system. So all the users are going to have to create a new password. There's no other way around it, because for security reasons, we've got to bring everybody up to this standard, because it's the same login that they're going to use on the web. It's the same login they're going to tie everything in online as a player. So we don't want to use their old logins, their old passwords. But however, we want them to be able to claim their old identity, bring it over into ggLeap. So we will have an export import function for a lot of the major products out there to bring the username in. It's still in debate whether we worry about bringing in credit balances or time balances. One of the reasons why is that, some of the way the other companies do things are not done correctly, and some of those things are not the right amount. And to give you an example, like on my old account, I used to have a balance of minus $192 in Smart Launch. That was what my account's balance was. Like, somehow my account got corrupted. It's jacked up somewhere. Again, it's poor coding. It's them building things on top of an old code base year after year instead of going back and rewriting the core of the whole thing from scratch. So I don't know how much of that old data we want to allow to be brought in, because we don't want it to cause new problems. Worst case scenario is that you can export that data. You can have it available in a spreadsheet. And if somebody had 8 hours before during your transition period, you could come in and just add the 8 hours into ggLeap at a $0 cost to balance them out and cross them off the spreadsheet. That would be worst case scenario. If it really becomes an issue and we need to look at it, we can import hours off of the old system. We can look at doing that, and as long as there's no errors, as long as there's no conflicts, then we can release a product like that for people to use. We definitely want to import usernames. We probably, if you're a good center and you've gotten this data, we probably want to import email addresses, so that, again, as a center, when you're importing everybody over and all of a sudden, oh crap, I've got a web-based system that my users can log into, you guys can generate a MailChimp mailing that says, or kick off a system in our mailing system that says, hey, we have a new online account at Game Republic. I need you to, this email is identified with this account. Click here to verify your email, create your brand new secure password, and link your in-game accounts right here through a web browser. Like, those are things that we're probably going to have these people do, because, again, we're out with the old. We're done with that. I don't want any of that the old way of doing things to creep into the new system just because we're worried about transferring over like some cash balance off some old customer's account. Export that, archive it, keep it in file. Don't cheat your customers. You don't want to say, oh, sorry, we lost the old system. You lost 10 hours or $15 in credit or whatever you may be worried about losing with the old system. I'm trying to think of other things people may want to import. They might want to import user groups. That will be fine. Again, that's a big request that we've had from people, is the ability to put users in user groups. So if you have them already split up into user groups in your old system, we definitely want you to be able to import that kind of data, as long as it doesn't require us to take any bad data out of that database and put it into ours.
Yeah.
So we're not bringing it over. We're not using any of those tables or any of that stuff. Like, we don't want any of the old stuff from anybody else. Yeah. Our stuff's brand new. It's straight out the C++, C#, whatever Chris and Andy and Colin use. I don't know what it is. I just know it's kick-ass. I do know, this is one thing that I thought of. The client's built in Unity 3D, so it's not a Flash client. It works in Windows 10 grade. It has all the bells and whistles and things that we wish we've all had for years. There will be portions of it eventually that the center will have control over at the standard level and higher, to be able to change out banners and things on it, so that, again, we're planning on hopefully having some sponsors pay for the light version for the little centers that cannot afford the bigger features, so they won't have the ability to change some of those sponsored ads, whether it be from Alienware, NVIDIA, eBlue, or somebody. But again, it's I hate to say the sky is the limit, but the way that we've built the system, and it's really funny the way all this worked out in the end. Because we had no intentions of doing this until we were forced to doing it. And once we got into doing it, about 3 months into the project, we all like had a come to Jesus moment where we're like, you know what, this is what we should have done 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. Like this is it, we've wasted so much of our time as LAN Center owners talking about doing this. Every one of us have said, what none of these things do what we needed to do. We should build our own. It can't be that hard. Now, I take back it can't be that hard a little bit. Like our people are brilliant that are building this for us, but it's extremely time consuming. Like there is thousands of development hours built into this. Like the things that people don't understand, we have to be very careful with how data is handled back and forth with encryption and how the clients talk to the servers because it's all web-based. We have to be careful with how much data is actually passed to minimize the usage of people's internet connections. We have to think about what happens when the internet disconnects for Srini and those guys over in India where the internet's not as stable. And we've had to address all those issues. We've got a lot of those things figured out. But some of those things that we had to figure out have presented opportunities to do some really cool, badass shit down the road. So, when you think about, I've got to use, how do I maintain my game library and do updates and everything else? Oh, crap. You know what? We can do that now. We have a web-based system that can have the latest files ready to go so that when the first client connects, it gets the latest update files, and then it shares it on the local network with the other clients in your LAN center to save bandwidth. The sky is the limit with the system that we have, and everything that we've always wanted, will be just a matter of prioritizing those things based on our supporting center's feedback. Yeah. So again, if you have something that you want, get on board with us now, get into the private groups that we have where we're taking feedback, and it's all about who we're working for and who we're working with, what we produce. So I'm not putting something out there that I think it would be cool because, I'm sitting at a desk somewhere and I build software. I'm putting things out there because I run a LAN center. I know what we need. I take feedback from the other LAN centers that are as part of our group, and they tell me what they need. It's such a cool and amazing time that we just.
A couple things I need to chime in on. Chris Tom asked about game keys. It's already done. You can add license key pools into the admin software. You can add as many games that apply to those licenses all in one fell swoop. It's super easy. You talked about time deals, daily packages, etc. That's going to be there by the end of the month, most likely, because we've got to do it for UCI and their launch. And then you talked about different computer types. I've been banging the drum on this one. We've got to have a generic login, PC, whatever, for consoles and BYOC stuff. So it's on the docket. It's going to happen soon.
Yeah, and again, the deadlines we're with UCI. UCI, is a huge opportunity for us to get recognized as a group of centers. So they'll be running our software. They'll be linking players to track stats. They'll have leaderboards going, and I don't know. I'll just say this. They have really influential partners that are involved in their center in the game industry that I'm hoping some of those contacts and some of those special things that they're getting will become available through our network to other LAN center owners. And they're things that we've dreamed about having for years and years and years. And that launch of their stuff is super important. All right, we cover about all bases. Again, I'm sure now every week as we jump back into our Twitch cast, we'll have a nice long list of features and things to talk about. It's not just about events and tournaments and prizes and things as much as it is. Oh, by the way, we got some new prize codes today, didn't we? What was the name of that game?
Coffin Dodgers.
Coffin Dodgers. So,
I didn't see that email, by the way, so you need to forward it to me because I didn't know what you're talking about.
It's funny, but Mark has a challenge with me. He and I have a small challenge going. He thinks he's gonna, like, now that we're public, like we can open the doors and start getting the word out to everybody. So Mark has challenged me. Mark from iGames, not Mark, our buddy from Guff, but Mark from iGames has challenged me. He thinks before the end of the year, he's going to get us 30 to 60 games, support from 30 to 60 different games. He thinks he can get game support faster than I can get centers involved in early access. And I laughed at him. I'm like, well, first of all,
You do
you know,
not
like
do not poke the bear.
you have no idea how competitive I am and how that's going to result. But it's also a little bit
if you could see this dragon wing, you would know what it means.
So good. It's so good. It's one of those fun things that I think the next 30 to 60 days are going to be pretty crazy cool. And again, I love it because it's just things that just trickle down through us that go out to everybody that's been my friends in this industry for years and years and years. And those of us that have survived this long trying to figure out how to do all this crap on our own, we're finally going to be able to do things as a group that are really big. I mean, I talked to some centers today that, they can't believe where we're at because, again, we haven't been public with everybody what we're doing. And when I start talking about, these things that we can do, it's just like a sigh of relief. Like as LAN Center owners, we're like, finally, we're going to be able to do the things that we've always needed to be able to do.
Sweet.
Cool. All right. So how long did we go? Did we break an hour?
Like an hour and a half.
Oh, crap. Jeez. Sorry. I meant to make it under an hour, but this will all get loaded up. Most of our viewership comes from our YouTube videos later. So this will be an interesting one. Everybody say hi to Smart Launch because I'm sure they're going to watch this tomorrow. Some guys were shared some interesting things that Smart Launch has been telling them about how we're using all of their code and all of their ideas, which makes me chuckle to the fullest because we'll be happy to share, our development path with whatever software person wants to see what we've built behind the scenes. It's so nothing to do with them that it's not even funny. And it's such the right thing to do. Not that we cared about using any of their stuff at all, but we just have so much awesome things that are going to happen. Like it's crazy cool what's about to happen the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So G-Day is coming up in October, and it will be hopefully the launch of the full product. Everybody can move into packages. We'll have the licensing coming in from EA for Battlefield. We'll have new game support, the new seasonal launch, the coins get reset. And I'll just throw this challenge out to you, JMac. By October 25th, we'll have over 200 centers in ggCircuit.
Wait, what date?
October 20. What is Battlefield's launch date? October 25th. No, 18th. October 18th is Battlefield's launch date. So that is a little over a month from now. We will have over 200 centers on ggCircuit, and we will have how many? Plus or minus. I'll go higher. You can go lower. What number? How many people run in ggLeap? If we have 16 today, how many are we going to have in a month?
125.
Holy crap. That's a lot. I was going to say 50.
I thought you said 225 by mid-October.
200 ggCircuit centers. That's different than ggLeap.
Oh.
Because we already have 150
okay, I say
ggCircuit
centers. 53.
53. All right, I'll take higher. We'll have more than 53.
Okay, here's one one more question is talking about
Who asked that question?
Foreign languages.
Who asked it?
Sidel.
Do you know who it is?
Sidel from Nemesis.
I just want to know if they're trying to drag this out to a 2-hour show or not. No, we definitely will have language support. One of the big keys for us is that we built it from the ground up so that the languages can be changed and added easily. The main reason we're doing that, not that we don't care about French-speaking Canada or France or anybody in that area, but we're doing a lot of that for eBlue, who's one of our big backers and big partners. So even though I think it's hilarious that Smart Launch has eBlue's logo on their website as a sponsor, they must not have any idea what we're doing with eBlue because they truly are our partners. So we've got to have language support for all the Asia countries that eBlue supports pretty quickly. We obviously have to have Spanish support for our friends down in Latin America. The guys at Cyber Planet have been a great partner through this whole thing, and we plan on continuing our partnership with them, especially in Latin America, and having Fidel and those guys help us with that. Sebastian and Mario and Purser and those guys down there. So we definitely will have Spanish versions. We'll definitely have French versions. I know we've had a lot of requests from Some other countries like Mongolia, I'm not even sure what the language is there. It's not Mongolian. It's probably a dialect of Russian or something. We definitely will have language support for all these things pretty quickly. It's going to be a thing. We'll probably reach out to them and ask them to translate the language files for us, and then we can import them. So unfortunately, the first person in each region that wants to have support for Italian, like if a center comes to us from Italy and they want to have Italian support, we'll probably just say, hey, let us send you all the files that need to be translated. You translate them for us. We'll comp you a few months of free access, and then we've got the Italian version ready to go. Because we just don't have enough people that we have staff members that can go and do all that translation.
Yeah, and I want to mention, there's a lot of questions. I'm not ignoring you in the chat. We've got a backlog of people right now, and each person that fills out the form on ggLeap.com, we will personally contact you as we get through this queue. We'll answer any questions that you have personally. I mean, that's another thing. Each center that we set up, we have a personal Skype chat going on, and we have people in Europe and in the U.S. answering questions 24 hours a day. So you're not going to be waiting a week to get support. You're pretty much going to have it immediately, as long as we can keep up with the demand.
Yeah, the other thing too is when they join in that early access, the reason why it's so important is also we put them all into a private hidden group. So there's a private hidden group where all of our original sponsors started with us, and those guys and gals in that group, we've been sharing data back and forth. All of these new early access people will go right into that group. So if they've got individual questions, all of us are in that group on a regular basis. The developers are in there. All of us, Mark and Chris and I are in there. JMac's in there. A lot of eBash's guys that have been running it for a month and a half are in there. So specific questions will be answered like that in that group. I'm writing everybody back. Every form that comes from early access personally gets contacted by me. I make sure that we get them set up. I'll give them the PayPal link to start a subscription, and then I'll give them to either JMac or Ross so they can work on the installation with them. We're going to be with all these people step by step the whole time. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions, and we don't necessarily have to dodge them or anything or ignore them. We just don't want this to be too long because we've got to convert it to a YouTube video. And
yeah, no, not a problem. We got it. I got it under control. I will YouTube it out later for those that weren't here live. So until next time, let's hopefully not be too long. I miss you. I miss your musk.
I miss you too, and my beard is just going to get bigger as the season goes on.
All right.
All right.
We need to talk about season 6 at some point too. Maybe send out an email or
sure we will.
List something on the secret private group. Another perk for getting in there.
Yep, that sounds.
Peace out, homie.
All right, see you, buddy.